Good morning, YouTube. My name is Alex. Welcome back to the Lifting Nomad. On this channel, I am a fitness bro meets remote worker living in some pretty cool places while staying in shape and living that sort of gym bro lifestyle. In this video in particular, I want to talk about how many calories you actually can consume as someone who doesn't have, let's say, great genetics or a fast metabolism or a ton of muscle to begin with. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So feel free to stick around, and without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so yeah, a couple different things I want to talk about in this video. So what I've done is, in my journey, I was always recording the specifics of calories in, steps on the day, and my daily weight. And I actually have a pretty cool full sort of spreadsheet here that I'm gonna share in a second that we can walk through together and kind of talk through what calories you can actually expect. Now, I want to preface this video by saying a couple of things. First of all, the calories in depends a lot on genetics, your activity, your age, your testosterone levels, whether that's male, female, other, however you actually are as a being, as a human being. It can vary a lot. Now, one of the best things you can look at this, or best ways to look at this, is let's say you take every single person on earth and you put them on the exact same workout program, the exact same diet. You know, they're doing, let's say, push-pull legs 3 days a week on this diet with this many calories, this many steps every day, this much protein, like the exact same specifics, the exact same variables are the same for every person on earth. What you would find if you did that study for, let's say, 6 months, is you would have a massive curve of results. Now, obviously, you know, you could guess, most people are gonna land somewhere in the middle or average results of that study, but there's gonna be outliers of people who have just, you know, really gifted genetics or respond very positively to that type of training. So it's interesting to think that everyone doing the exact same things would result different yields. It's kind of like that definition of insanity, right? Doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. But that's assuming you're the same person. People react differently to every sort of training. So that's why you see, you know, a lot of guys try to do like the Phil Heath or Jay Cutler, or, you know, these kind of like Ronnie Coleman, Arnie, like these guys who did their style of training who got incredible results. Just because you mimic that exactly, you're not going to get the same results. So just something to keep in mind there as well before we get into this. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is, I think, like, looking at my numbers, this is pretty low calories for someone. You know, I'm 28, I'm 5'10", 5'11", and I weigh right now like high 150s, like 158. And at my peak, back when I was my heaviest, I was like 215. But I've never really been in shape until the last couple of years. So personally, I think my testosterone levels are a little bit lower than they should, and I'm planning on doing a bulk over the next year or so of about a pound a month to try and build some more lean tissue to increase my metabolism. But right now, as it is, I don't really burn that many calories. So just, you know, don't use this as your barometer. Every person is different. Make sure you're doing this in a healthy, sustainable way that works for you. And you're gonna have to do, you know, you're gonna have to tweak this a little bit for your results, basically. So, yeah, let's look at my spreadsheet. Now, let's take a look at the PPL home workout sheet. So this is 2 years of work. I started doing this, I guess, December of 2020. I went from like 190 down to 152 from March of 2020 to like July of 2020. Wasn't tracking it on this sheet at that point. I was just doing, I was using MyFitnessPal pretty much exclusively, and I also did 75 hard in there, if anyone's familiar with that. But let's take a look at this. So, you know, in December of 2020, I've got my weekly weight. It looks like I was doing Sunday mornings. I was still doing push-pull legs, my steps, and my calories. So at this point, I was averaging like 8,000 steps, you know, 2,000 calories, so and so on. I was missing a few days due to the Christmas break. And then I don't want to go through all of this, but as you can see, you know, I'm not really eating too much. So at this point, I was still doing like cardio every single day, lifting 6 days a week. I was training my body pretty hard. And as you can see, like looking at my weight, 161, 10,000 steps, 2,000 calories. And then I wasn't really losing weight, so I dropped to 2,050, and I dropped to 1,950, then going down here, 1,850, 1,750, and this is while upping my steps and cardio levels. So I really wasn't seeing that much progress at that many calories, which can be surprising to some people. Now, also, I was very, very specific about this. I have a food scale in MyFitnessPal, and I was not using like oils that weren't accounted for or peanut butter, anything like that. Like everything down to a T was measured to this within like 5 to 10% of just the actual measurement errors within the packages. We've talked about this before. A cup can vary quite a lot, but this is as accurate as I think I could get. Now, getting into February, I was pretty ripped up this summer, and this was probably the leanest I ever got when I was around like 152, as you can see here. And looking at the calories, like, I was eating like 1,900, 1,800, and I was losing like a pound and a bit a week. And then I think it was like March that I started to do my bulk. So I was sitting at like 152, averaging like, 2,200, 2,300 calories, which was good. And I was doing like 15,000 steps. And then this is where I started to gain weight. So I think if I look at this, yeah, my bulk was from like March until October, basically. And so if I look at April, I was measuring myself every single day and ended up being pretty much the same weight start to finish there. So let's look at May. This is when I started to gain weight. Cool. So this is when you can see like my workouts really started to become more specific. So I was looking at, 2,500 calories, 14,000 steps every single day. And I was gaining weight pretty quickly. This is like half a pound a week, closer to like half a pound or 1 pound. And this is still quite like I'm eating, I'm doing 15,000 steps every single day. I'm doing cardio every single day as well. I was doing like 10K bike rides at this point. So this is still quite a lot of exercise really for only like 2,400 calories. And I was gaining at that. So I was in a surplus at 2,400 calories despite doing 15,000 steps, cardio every single day, and lifting 6 days a week. So that is pretty drastic to think about, that I was in a surplus only at that much. So, you can fast forward through here a little bit, very similar sort of numbers, 2,600, 2,400, tons and tons of steps. I was doing like incredible amount of cardio, and I'm still gaining weight throughout this phase. And then if we fast forward a little bit here, July, 155, August, 157, 158, and this is still like 15,000, 15,000, 15,000, 17,000. You can see the monthly averages I started to do here as well. So averaging 2,500, let's say, a day, averaging 15,000 steps a day, cardio, and 6 days a week, I was gaining weight. So it's pretty cool to see. I mean, not really cool. I couldn't really eat too much food at all, but this much of weight gain at that little of calories is pretty crazy. Now, you can see like this is October, and I started to get over 160, and this is when I got a little bit fluffy. I still had abs at this point, but I wasn't nearly as lean as I was the summer before. And then, fast forward, this is pretty kind of standard. I mostly maintained through these months. I actually like kind of went off the wagon a little bit of being as dedicated. March, I was in Colombia, wasn't really following my workout plan properly. This was ideally before I went to Portugal. Didn't really follow it that well as either. Kind of a shitty like period, I think, of my tracking, which could explain why I got off of how lean I used to be. And then once I came back from Portugal, I was like 165, and that's really where I was like, okay, I need to tighten this up. Now, I'm going on vacation next week. So this has been like this month, I've been extremely dedicated, no alcohol whatsoever, no cheat meals, absolutely like flawless management of my calories. And I just wanted to give you guys a realistic expectation of what you can expect once you're like even in the fitness world. At this point, I'm like pretty lean. I'll put up a picture here if you can see what I'm currently sitting at. I'm in very good shape, but this is still the reality of how I have to lose weight with my metabolism and my genetics. So sitting at 165 as a 25-year-old man doing 13,000 steps a day, I ate 1,700 calories a day. This is with, this week was 30 minutes a day on the spin bike. This week was 40 minutes a day on the spin bike. This week was 50 minutes a day on the spin bike. Keep that in mind, as well as 6 day week push-pull legs. So on top of that much cardio, that many steps, this little calories and lifting, I was only able to go from like 165 down to 164 in 1 week. And then I moved down to 162 the week later, 161 the next week. And that's where I'm at right now. So I just wanted to give you this, guys, a realistic expectation that the calories in vary so much person to person that you really need to be as diligent as possible. Like, this method of tracking will ensure you're hitting your goals, right? If you see this every single day, this is my home screen. When I open internet, this is what I see. The first thing I see as soon as I go to the internet. If you do something this diligent, you're gonna make sure that you're on top of this day in and day out, because it's all you ever see, right? First thing I see in the morning is this. Last thing I see at night is this. Now, that's it for the video. I didn't want to get too complicated with it. I just wanted to show you what I've done in the past as someone who used to be pretty fat. And this method for me was really, there's no way to jump, like, to fugaze it. If you're being honest with yourself about how many calories, you're measuring everything, you're keeping track of everything, this is a for sure thing. Measuring yourself every single day at the same time is gonna guarantee that you're being accurate with your calories, and you're gonna make sure you get to your goals. Now, yeah, hopefully this video was helpful for some people. If it was, feel free to check out some of my other content. Give me some recommendations of what else you'd want to see in the comments below. Otherwise, my name is Alex, and we'll see you next time. Peace.